Something that everyone keeps saying down the woodyard, get down to the woodyard and make some bird houses, boxes, because now's the time. They can't feed themselves. The ground is solid frozen, as you can see. They can't get the worms. So I've actually helped them this week. They've been building a lot of these and I just wanted to show you how to make them. And they're not ordinary bird tables. It's actually got a twist at the bottom for a really big, cool garden feature. So while I drive to the woodyard, get all the beauty shots and the measurements, you can sit back, relax and enjoy watching it, and I'll meet you at the end. Here's a kiss. Come on, don't leave me hanging. Kiss. Gosh, this was cold. You know, I really did empathise that day with anyone who works in a woodyard or any outdoor jobs. I can't see how you'd ever get used to it. So I told you this has a twist. And it starts off with planks for a base, or 6 by 1.5 inch timber. Whatever you can get hold of that's cheap, because we're going to turn it into a stacked corner planter. And it's so simple, with loads of repetitive cuts that I made on the radial arm saw, or of course a handsaw would do. So this is how the base layer is roughly going to look. Now I can't take credit for this design, this is just something that they've been tinkering and developing over a few weeks, but this is what it should roughly look like, an L-shaped corner piece that I drill and screw together. So that's almost the base layer done. Let's work on the top piece. The top piece basically just matches the corner, so you've got the same dimensions. Now to fix the top piece securely to the bottom piece, you could try some pocket hole screws, but I don't think that would be particularly strong with the way the grain is running. So you need to cut 3 support pieces that go in only 3 of the corners to the same height as the top and bottom piece. I'll show you what we do with that 4th corner shortly. Once I've screwed it to the top smaller box, I could then slot it in and then secure it to that bottom piece. Okay, so now we're tying the 4th corner together, and that is using a 4-foot tall fence post, and that's what's going to hold the bird table feeder. Let's work on that next. I'm screwing this in from all sides, but you could technically bolt it if you preferred. Okay, so time to sort out the bird table itself.
Gonna work on the bird table base!
For the base, I'm just using an offcut of plywood. That hole in the middle was just randomly there. Let's just say it's drainage. And then I worked on nailing a lipped wall all the way around to retain any bird seed. But let's talk about if this happens to you. You don't nail straight, you nail too close to the edge. It's really frustrating, but it does happen. So I'd have to cut them short with this tool. I can't remember what this is called. And if it split the wood, I had to add a bit of glue and a tack nail to secure it. Now it's going to need a roof as well, which means I need 4 corner posts to prop it up. For these bits you could use 1.5 inches, but it's cheaper at the woodyard to use ripped CLS timber. So I draw around 1 in each corner, then I'd know where to drill pilot holes, and then screw them from underneath. And some nails to stop them spinning. But now I needed to nail 2 side pieces on. To mark the width for an apex roof, get the measurement from either side of the 2 uprights, but only at the bottom because that's the area that's square, plus 2 offcuts to that of the wood that you used at the top. Once you've cut your 2 lengths down, work out your centre point and what drop you would like from either side, and then go and cut them with a jigsaw, a handsaw, or a bandsaw. I know it's not really recommended to wear gloves using power tools like this, but it was so freezing. Once I got 1 cut, I could draw around on the 2nd piece and then make the same cut. I know I'm going to get comments, yes I was wearing ear defenders, and now it's time to nail them on the front and back. I also added some screws as well. Now because this was a smallish bird table, I didn't bother with another structural piece at the top centre, but if you're making a bigger one you'll need it to stop any cladding that you use for the roof from sagging.
Right, let's get this roof on. Oh! I think I need something to eat. Let's have something to eat.
Let's eat! And that's courtesy of HelloFresh, who are kindly sponsoring this project. But ignore that burn mark, that's my next project. Now if this is the first time you've heard of HelloFresh, I really love the service because you can order things online, they've got a huge catalogue of recipes to choose from, you select it and they deliver it to your door. Or narrowboat. And yeah, they didn't struggle to find us, which was very cool. Everything comes pre-weighed, portioned off in bags, so there's less waste. Another thing that I really like are the recipe cards with step-by-step instructions on the back. And on it goes to my new cookbook stand. And it's almost like having a takeaway apart from doing some prep, because you get to try new things. I also like how I'm less likely to overeat with the meals, but they're still filling portions. And don't let the prep put you off either, because there's very little to do. Dinner's up! Well, we think it tastes nice, and it only took 20 minutes to make. And if you want to try some new meals as well, delivered to your door, then I'll leave a link on the screen now, which is valid till the end of the month, for 60% off your first box and 25% off your next 2 months, plus free gifts. Let's get back to, well, I'll finish this and then you can watch the rest of the project. For the roof, I gave it a bit of an overhang, made sure that it was equal either side, and tried nailing it, but I ran out of nails. And what do when you run out? You just grab another nail gun that's already full. Now this one is more of a beast, and the camera doesn't quite pick it up, but this moment here is exactly why you should have your other hand away from the gun. That could have been an A&E moment. Anyway, I carried on, gave it another go.
It is sparking that.
Now I'm on to the third gun. Although I don't like how heavy it is, the boss stitch seemed to be a lot more reliable. This is tongue and groove with the lip ripped off where the apex meet and from the edge of the last pieces. To finish that off, I'm hand nailing some mitered pieces on the tongue and groove. I should have stated it does help that the tongue and groove is quite thick. You can't really do this with thin stuff. And I nailed a quadrant beading in the middle, but because there's no structural piece underneath, I had to do that on an angle so it would hit into the tongue and groove as well. Obviously I didn't want the trim to overhang too much, so I hand sawed that off vertically. Every now and again you need a spare pair of hands, don't you, to hold the table still on top of the fence post so I could pre-drill and screw it on. But we're also offsetting it using offcuts of the same planter base. Now this doesn't look very strong at the moment, so I used a 45-degree jig to cut some mitered supports on the radial arm saw. I cut 2, but this is where I used waterproof glue because I needed them to be strong. First I nailed them on an angle, but fixed them with screws.
Oh, for goodness sake.
And something that they've been doing is adding a bird table at the side if you wanted to. Okay, this isn't mine. Somebody had already made that down there. Now this is untreated softwood, so it was definitely important that I added a preservative. And make sure you pay extra attention to the end grains and the base that will be touching the floor. Oh, and this is a pet safe one that they always use. But now I just need the corner of a garden to put it in, some soil, plants, and some birds. See, that's another idea you could do. But anyway, I have absolutely loads of bird table and bird box projects. I'm going to leave a playlist here if this isn't what you're looking for. But yeah, now's the time to make them.